One round of group games is done. 48 teams have finally walked onto the pitch, the talking is over, and the football has started to tell the truth. And here's the strange thing it told us. Almost nobody knows who they are yet. The favorites you would have written down a month ago looked vulnerable, confused, or completely dependent on one or two players. The teams nobody fancied came out swinging, and a handful of giants looked exactly as terrifying as advertised. So let's go through it. The 11 questions that are going to decide the rest of this tournament, because the answers to these are where the trophy actually lives. And before anyone panics about an early stumble, remember the history. Argentina lost its opening match in 2022 and went on to win the whole thing. Spain lost its opener in 2010 and lifted the trophy weeks later. Almost every champion has a scare, a flat performance, a result that makes the fans nervous. One round is a tiny sample, but it's enough to see the storylines forming, so let's start with the team that looked the most reborn. Question 1. Will England's newfound courage survive the knockouts? Because something genuinely changed in that 4-2 win over Croatia. For years under Gareth Southgate, England's instinct, the moment they took a lead, was to retreat, to sit deep, protect the result, and invite weaker teams right back into the game. Respectable finishes, miserable football, talent left on the table. Under Thomas Tuchel, the message was the opposite. Harry Kane said the manager told them at halftime to take the shackles off, saying, "What's the worst that can happen? Show the world who we can be." And they did. After managing barely half an expected goal in the first half, England generated nearly 2 in the second, carving Croatia apart in transition. On that evidence, England are one of the 3 or 4 rightful favorites to win this. The only question is whether the courage holds when the stakes return, because in the knockouts, the old instinct to shrink is always waiting. Question 2. Can the United States' aggressive midfield survive a real opponent? Because the 4-1 demolition of Paraguay was one of the most complete performances of the entire round, and it felt brand new for a team that's been followed by a storm cloud of doom for 2 years. Pochettino shoved his central players high up the pitch, told them to run in behind, and had them press relentlessly. Against Paraguay, it was flawless. But that midfield, Adams, McKennie, and Tillman, is built on energy and ball winning, not control. It's a risk-reward bet. When the press works, the United States creates chances without having to break down a settled defense. When it fails, acres of space open up between the midfield and the back four. Elite teams are far more comfortable playing through that kind of pressure, so we won't get the real answer until the knockouts. But when it comes, it'll come fast. Question 3, and you knew it was coming. Can Portugal solve its Ronaldo riddle? After the 1-all draw with Congo, the spotlight is now burning a hole in Roberto Martinez. Ronaldo's defenders point to his goals in qualifying. His critics point to everything else. Portugal have one of the deepest, most technically gifted midfields in the tournament, and yet their possession too often looks designed to find Ronaldo rather than to use the talent around him. Right now, he is not adding anything to their build-up, and he is not stretching defenses, which leaves all that midfield creativity with nowhere to pass the ball forward. So Martinez faces maybe the most delicate decision of any manager here. Is Ronaldo still genuinely Portugal's best striker, or has he become the most famous untouchable starter in the sport? Benching him entirely feels almost impossible, but handing the line to a more mobile option like Goncalo Ramos might unlock a completely different Portugal. Question 4. Can Turkey finally cash in its talent? It is one of football's most predictable scripts. Turkey arrives as the cool, dark horse pick and then disappears in the group stage. like it did at both Euro 2016 and 2021. After losing 2-0 to Australia, that ghost is back in the room, and they may need to beat Paraguay just to survive. The talent is real, but so are the flaws. They could not create clear chances in settled possession, and they got more exposed the more they chased the game. Their shot map tells the whole story. 16 of 30 attempts came from outside the box, which is why all that effort added up to barely 1.36 expected goals. Arda Güler was supposed to be a breakout star. Instead, he spent the night firing hopeful long-range shots that went nowhere. Tournaments reward organization and discipline, not just gifted individuals. And Turkey has not shown it has the former yet. Question 5 is the fun one. Is Yan Diomande the next global superstar? Every World Cup mints one. James Rodriguez in 2014. Mbappe in 2018. A promising player who becomes a household name. And the early front-runner for 2026 is a 19-year-old from Ivory Coast. Against one of the tournament's best defenses, Ecuador, Diomande was electric. He applied relentless pressure on the box, created 5 chances, and dribbled past 4 players at 19. And his next opponent could be the launchpad because Germany loved to dominate the ball and camp in the attacking half. And Germany have real questions about defending wide areas and direct runners. That is exactly Diomande's game. Every German push forward becomes a chance to isolate a defender against one of the most explosive players in the entire field. If Ecuador was his introduction, Germany could be his coronation. Question 6. Does Hervé Renard have one more piece of World Cup magic up his crisp white sleeve? Few managers carry a reputation like the Frenchman in the lucky white shirt. The man behind Saudi Arabia's stunning upset of Argentina in 2022, a 2-time AFCON winner with Zambia and Ivory Coast. He was supposed to coach Saudi Arabia here until they fired him in April. And now, in one of the strangest subplots of the tournament, he has taken over Tunisia in the middle of the World Cup. If Tunisia can beat Japan or the Netherlands, they have a shot at the knockouts. Dropping into a new team mid-tournament is a borderline impossible task. But it honestly would not be a proper World Cup without Renard turning up, white shirt and all. Question 7. Which France is going to show up? We saw 2 completely different teams against Senegal. For 45 minutes, the co-favorites were a mess. One shot, a disjointed attack, a superstar lineup with nobody to actually run it. No press, letting Senegal control the ball and pile up touches in France's box. Then came a tactical switch that fixed everything. Moving Michael Olise into a central role gave France the playmaker they had been missing. He assisted Mbappe, created 4 chances in a single half, and showed exactly why he has become one of the best attacking players on the planet. So which is the real France? The vulnerable, structureless first half? Or the overwhelming second? The ceiling is genuinely frightening. But that opening 45 was a reminder that even this much talent is not immune to being out-organized. Question 8. Can Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal get fit in time to save Spain? It took a perfect storm for Cape Verde to hold Spain to a goalless draw. An inspired goalkeeper. An off night for Spain's striker. Chances that just wouldn't drop. Spain controlled the midfield exactly how De La Fuente wanted. The problem was the final third, where attack after attack fizzled into harmless passing around the box. That's precisely where Yamal and Williams become indispensable, 2 of the very few players alive who can manufacture an advantage entirely on their own. The kind of thing no defensive plan can coach away. The trouble is both are working back from injury and came off the bench, and Spain looked alarmingly toothless without them. They'll round into form, but World Cups don't always give you the luxury of time. and Spain's margin shrinks fast if their two most explosive players are still chasing fitness when the elimination games arrive. Question 9. Does this Brazil team even have an identity? For most of modern history, you always knew what Brazil was trying to be. Overwhelming attackers, technical magicians, lethal on the counter. This year, you can't tell. Carlo Ancelotti has inherited elite individuals, but less depth than Brazil is used to. And after 90 minutes against Morocco, it's genuinely unclear whether this is a possession team, a transition team built to free Vinicius Jr., or a pressing team. The Guimarães-Casemiro midfield kept coughing the ball up in the first half and leaving Brazil open to counters. Ancelotti hooked Casemiro at the break, but not before a yellow card and being dribbled past 3 times. The theory is simple. Feed Vini and Rafinha, let them cook. It barely happened. Some credit to Morocco for that, but more of it is a Brazil side that, one game in, still doesn't know what it is. Question 10. Will the African teams keep punching above their weight? Because round 1 belonged to them. Ivory Coast upset Ecuador with Diomande starring. Cape Verde stunned Spain. Egypt went toe-to-toe with Belgium. Morocco did the same to Brazil. Congo outplayed Portugal for long stretches. Ghana beat Panama in stoppage time. Outside of some shaky goalkeeping from Tunisia and Algeria, and whatever happened to South Africa, African sides comprehensively beat expectations. Maybe it is small sample noise that fades. Or maybe the Africa Cup of Nations just half a year ago was a dress rehearsal that left these teams sharper and more battle-ready for World Cup chaos than the pampered favorites. Either way, in round 1, their continuity outweighed the supposed talent gap. And question 11, the one that never gets old. How does Lionel Messi keep doing this? He has already beaten the sport. There is nothing left to win. In the first match of what is almost certainly his final World Cup, at 38, he scored a hat trick against Algeria. Yes, 2 of those goals came off shaky goalkeeping, but he is now level with Klose for the most World Cup goals in history. It was his first ever World Cup hat trick, and he became the only MLS player to score 3 in a World Cup match. The first goal said everything about why Argentina can still win this with an aging, flawed roster. 16 minutes in, they had not even entered Algeria's box, and the attack looked disconnected. Then, Messi struck from 25 yards and erased every doubt. That is the paradox of this Argentina. They may lean on him more now than they did 4 years ago. They do not need 90 minutes of brilliance from him anymore. They just need one decisive moment, every so often. And would you ever bet against him producing it? So that's where we stand. England look liberated. The US look dangerous. Portugal looks stuck. France look like a coin flip. Spain look fragile without their wizards. Brazil look lost. Africa looks fearless. And Messi looks immortal. 11 questions, 1 round in, and the beautiful truth of it is that almost none of them are answered yet. That's exactly what makes the next round must watch, because this is the stretch where these teams stop wondering who they are and start showing us. So which of these is the question you most want answered? Is it Ronaldo? Is it whether the US is for real? Is it whether anyone can stop Messi one last time? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. A like genuinely helps, more than you'd think. And subscribe if you want World Cup coverage that follows every storyline, not just the highlights. Football at this scale is never just a tournament. It's a moment in time, and we are only just getting started.